Hey everybody, Paul from Better Chess, and welcome to Game 2 of the 2024 Senior Chess Open. I won Game 1 in a miracle fashion. If you haven't seen that, you should look at the first video on the subject. For Game 2, I played a FIDE master, William Schill, who's won the Washington State Championship at least once or twice in the past 20 years. He's not only a strong player, but he's a smart player. And before I get right into the game, I get a lot of questions from people when I play master level players and I lose, and they ask me, what does the master level player do to beat me? What are things that, I can look out for in my games? And my answer to the question is, it's a lot of little things. This game is a good example of how he grinds me down. All right, so let's just go through it and then I'll explain as we go. But this is a good way to explain where I did nothing majorly wrong. I didn't hang a piece, didn't hang my queen, but as the position moves forward, you'll see how a strong player like he is winds up grinding me down. So the game starts in typical fashion. My e4, he plays the Sicilian, I play my King's Indian attack. It's very similar stuff. I played him the same opening a year ago as white and managed to get a draw. Very fortunate. He was better, and I eked out a draw. This game, sort of similar. I play c3. The idea is to play, rook e1, then play d4, get the center, and then he hits me with e5, which is kind of interesting because now he is really grabbing the center. Most of the time when I play like a Chess Engine or review my games with Stockfish, it always recommends playing c4. But the idea is just to lock the center, play knight c3, and then continue the game. In this game, I was more tentative. I hadn't played chess in a year, tournament chess that is. So I said, let me play a little more creatively, and I played knight a3. The idea is to play knight c2, and at some point being able to help on a d4 push. So he plays a good move immediately. He attacks the center with d5. Good move. I think about this for a while. There's a couple of options I have. I can just take. It turns out the best move here is bishop g5. That way, if he captures, I can capture back and capture the knight first rather. So again, if he takes d4, I can take first. Takes, and it's just an equal position. And we continue to play. But in this case, I play a weaker move. I play queen e2, kind of question mark. He noted after the game this is sort of a weird move. It's just passive. It doesn't do very much. And then it's a really tough move as to what to play for black right here. Stockfish likes h6. Why? I think just to guard the g5 square from bishop g5 and other threats. He plays instead d4. Not wrong, but just gaining more space. And here's where I really start going astray. Queen e2 was already a dubious move. Now I should probably just take on d4. That's what he recommends. Or just knight c4, putting pressure on the e5 square. Bishop g4, I kick him, and then we just continue to play chess. And maybe queen d6, he's going to double. I play king g2, and then it's just an equal position. Instead, I play c4. Question mark. Again, two dubious moves here, or bad moves. Again, I'm not losing. The point of my making this move is that I figured, well, look, I'm just going to play on the b file here. I'm going to play like knight c2, rook b1, then a3, then b4, and get my pieces active and see what I can do. That's my reasoning. But the problem is he can do the same thing. And watch what he does. So the first thing he does is a good move. He plays knight e8. Again, the purpose is to, I thought he was going to play f5 at first, but that's not the reason. It's to play knight d6 and to participate in a future b5. Right? So then I play, my rerouting, as I mentioned, knight c2. He plays knight d6. Rook b1 is a move. That's what I played. The other move is bishop d2 to kind of, again, prepare this pawn push. But rook b1. He then plays b5 right away, straight up. and he's already putting pressure. I kind of have to take it, right? Because if I allow him to take, my pawns become split, and then he has a passer on d4. So I just take it. Knight takes. And I recognize that I need to start getting my pieces in the game, right? Like, I only have a few pieces. Yes, these pieces are sort of helping. Maybe my queen will help, but these guys here are kind of inactive. What are they doing? Sort of a question mark here on those guys. So after a lot of thinking, I play knight d2, trying to route to the c4 square. It seems logical enough. He stops it with bishop e6. And now I figured I'll kick the knight with a4. However, another move that was probably just as good, if not better, and this is, again, comes with experience, and I didn't see this, is f4. Mix it up. Let's open up the f file to create some counterplay, right? Open some lines and create multiple fronts. And the other thing, too, is at least it has some potential of getting this bishop more active. It's not doing anything where it is currently, right? And f4 has some hope of a future of liberating this bishop on g2. So f4 would be good, and if he took, I could go here, and it gets very aggressive. But in the end, black would still have an advantage. But look how much more active my pieces are. And I have some threats in the position, which is pretty good. So I play a4. He plays back to d6. And now I'm trying to figure out a way, okay, how do I get these pieces moving? I can't play b4, so I play b3 to kind of cement the c4 square from him playing c4 himself. Look at this, rook b8. See, just very subtly, he starts taking the file. There's no rush. This b pawn, it's backward, it's defended by pieces. There's no other way for these guys to help. So I want you to remember that as we continue to watch this game unfold here. So I play the weird bishop a3 idea, just threatening the piece, threatening the c5 pawn. Again, queen a5, good move. Move after move. These pieces are joining in the attack. Just very, very smart. After a long think, I wasn't sure really what to play here. Turns out f4 is a good idea again to kind of keep the pieces going. But I played this other move, which is just not good. And I played rook fc1. And at first, it looks reasonable. Because, I'm hitting c5. This guy's on c5. What's the problem? This makes sense. But then he plays a very strong move. And as soon as he played it, I recognized it. Can you see what it is? This is, again, the attributes of a very strong player. He plays the very strong bishop h6. And again, watch how he gets his pieces integrated. And now this is another piece on this huge diagonal covering all these squares. And it becomes a bit of a nightmare. How do I defend this? And again, look at this piece. This g2 bishop is just locked. It has no future. His bishop is participating. His knights are participating. Everything is participating except maybe this rook. But watch what happens when he gets that involved in a minute. So after bishop h6, I realize I'm just worse, and I play the silly rook d1. What else am I going to do? And here he comes now, rook fc8, getting his other pawn, his other rook involved, and protecting the pawn. Didn't know what to do here. Apparently, knight a1 is a good defensive move, but my goodness. Knight a1 is accepting a prison sentence, a life prison sentence, putting a knight on a1. So I figured, if I'm going to go down, let me go down actively. I'll play knight c4, which is not a good move, but at least it creates an activity. He took it. I captured in the center. And again, look how weak this pawn is now. It just has no defenses. And this bishop, once again, keeping all the key squares under control. Right? It's very hard for me to lift pieces or reroute them without a lot of effort involved. So he plays a really strong move here. Again, the subtle rook c7, just doubling. Rook c7 and then rook cb7, just calmly putting pressure. There's no rush. He doesn't have to do this immediately. He just calmly integrates all his pieces. Here I am now struggling for error, so I play knight e1, idea of trying to get to d3 and praying that I have some kind of defense here. He doubles, which is what the plan was. Now, really, all his pieces are engaged. There isn't a single piece not participating, whereas my pieces are questionable. So I play the passive queen c2, just defend. What else am I going to do? And then he hits me with a very strong move here. Pause the video, see if you can see it. With very little thought, maybe a minute or so, not even, he plays queen c3. And this is, I think, a lot of just instinct and experience, where he realizes that this is just a very strong move that cannot be met. And he's right. If I take this queen, I run the c-pawn runs rampant. He has knight d4. He has even like bishop d2 to protect it. It's just a hot mess. And I'm losing this b3 pawn. Right? So I realize I can't capture it, but I'm probably still much worse. So I play bishop f1. Better late than never to try to get a piece in this defensive effort. He plays back to f8. Not a bad move. He's just realizing he's just going to defend this c-pawn. No rush. And he can go back to h6. That's the great thing about this bishop. It's a strong piece. It can be defensive or offensive. Bishop d3. Again, I'm just trying to hold the fort here. I'm locking things down. I'm trying to go into my shell like a turtle and seeing what I can do to defend. And then he just captures the pawn. I mean, what else can I do? I'm just busted here. There's nothing I can do. I'm just waiting for the inevitable. So the rest is just sort of me flailing around, but I try to make him earn the win. I'm not going to resign too quickly. So I capture the queen, captures, I defend the bishop. He plays knight, and I didn't know really what to do here. I just took the knight. There's no moves here that do anything anyway. I'm just lost. Now he has two connected pass pawns, which are going to be a nightmare to deal with. And I'm just trying to survive. Knight c2. He attacks, and now b3 is coming, and what am I going to do? Just try to get rid of the rooks. He happily trades. Oh, this is just over now. I mean, I'm in deep trouble here. Knight e3, and then he plays c2, and I'm just lost. There's nothing I can do here. I mean, I thought about taking, but I'm just down a piece, right? I could do something like this. And he just trades. I mean, come on, I'm down a full piece. All these pawns are weak. Look at these pawns. I'm in trouble, and I can't win. So I resigned after move 35. So a good example of how a strong player like William kind of cut me down. Again, it wasn't a violent 15, 20 move mate. No, it took some time, but it's just my consistent passive play and not getting my pieces engaged. That was the key for losing. And his experience, really guided him to a nice win here, and kudos to him. So that's game 2. 1 win, 1 loss. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.